after NIST does its work and it goes to the regional conferences, this is where it all happens. And he has a lot of experience as well, having started out as a grain moisture meter inspector manager at the Nebraska Public Service Commission in the 90s. And then for almost 10 years, he was the program manager for the Nebraska Department of Agriculture Weights and Measures Division before, in 2008, taking over as executive director of the national conference. So welcome. It's great to have you here, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. He's explained in some detail already who we are, but it goes all the way back to 1905. We're not new upstart association in this world of standards development. John told you that NIST's role is to promote uniformity, and the National Bureau of Standards is the NIST predecessor. It was formed in 1902 or 1903, I don't remember, on my birthday, actually. And no, I'm not that old, but 2 years later, they called for a meeting of the states, and that proved to be the foundation for the National Conference on Weights and Measures. It's a private organization. It's not regulatory. We evolved over many years. In 1997, we incorporated as a nonprofit. We're a member organization. We have 3 types of memberships. Active members are state, county, and local weights and measures regulatory officials. Okay? How many of you in here regulate taximeters? Just give me a show of hands. Okay, quite a number of you. How many of you are also weights and measures officials? I see one hand. Under the bylaws of the National Conference on Weights and Measures, if you regulate taximeters, you're a weights and measures official. And you qualify for active membership, which means that at our conferences in July, you have a vote on the U.S. standards for taximeters. The other 2 types of membership, associate membership, are industry and consumer concerns, and they do not have a vote on technical matters, but they do have a vote on business matters of the conference. And then we have advisory, which are the government officials that are not weights and measures regulatory at the state or local level. So it includes all federal officials, such as Mr. Barton, and we also include our retired members as advisory members. We do develop the model weights and measure standards for the United States. If you look at the covers of the handbooks that Mr. Barton put up there, they are NIST handbooks. They're published by NIST, but they are as adopted by the National Conference on Weights and Measures. We have many model regulations: packaging and labeling, price scanner accuracy, motor fuel quality, net content verification of packaged goods, just the fundamental weights and measures law that provides authority. These are models that states voluntarily adopt, or they can take that pieces of those models and incorporate them into regulations that they already have in place for those various authorities. We also develop the standards, as you know, for commercial weighing and measuring devices. There's just an enormous array that qualifies for that description. Scales all the way from jeweler scales used to buy gold and semi-precious at pawn shops and jewelry stores, all the way to heavy-duty industrial scales at rail yards and grain handling facilities. Meters from the gas pumps that we all use every day to loading rack meters. Such things as berry baskets, fabric wire and cordage measuring devices, timing devices at the laundromats, the car washes, the parking meters, grain analyzers that determine protein and moisture and oil content, software and point of sale systems that are used in conjunction with scales and meters, and now taximeters. Of course, the taximeter code, which is why we're here. We are very much in tune with the industries that manufacture and implement these devices, except that we fell out of touch with taximeters. We have a taximeter code that, quite frankly, is antiquated. I guess that's no big news to this group. We also administer the National Type Evaluation Program at NCWM. That may seem like another layer of bureaucracy. 46 states require NTEP certification for commercial weighing and measuring devices. we do have a certification program for taximeters. And there are companies in this room that have NTEP certification on their taximeters. It replaced 19 various type evaluation programs in cities and states with one national program. So it actually is a streamlining and elimination of bureaucracy. It comprises an evaluation of prototype devices for compliance with Handbook 44. In your draft regulation that you looked at, it mentions publication 14, Handbook 44 and publication 14. Publication 14 is a product of NCWM, and it tells the evaluator how to evaluate for compliance with Handbook 44. It's the checklist, the technical policies, and administrative policies for NTEP. So we issue those certificates of conformance. They're searchable on our database. That's open for the public to look at. And in effect, the NTEP program is the gateway to the U.S. market, which means that we have customers worldwide, anyone who's manufacturing commercial devices to market in this country. As I've said, NIST serves as advisory members. They serve on our technical committees. They're liaisons between NCWM and other federal agencies. And they all are also the representatives for the United States in international standards development. John mentioned 2 handbooks that they published. There are actually 3 that are products of NCWM, but the third one is more relative to all of you as consumers, not in your professional lives. Handbook 44 is for the standards for devices. Handbook 130, Uniform Laws and Regulations, and the far one is Handbook 133, which is for verifying net contents of packaged goods. I want to just recommend that Handbook 130 be considered as a future home for your draft regulation that you're reviewing and developing at the present time. That handbook contains very similar model laws and regulations for other areas of the marketplace. And I think that it would be a way to institutionalize the regulation with the adoption, the vetting and adoption of NCWM and the publication by NIST. It could lend some credibility, and as with everything that goes through our process, it promotes uniformity. Just to let you know that we're not totally antiquated, here's some things that we're working on or have already completed just recently. Hydrogen motor fuel quality standards. You would not believe the purity requirements of hydrogen fuel so that you don't ruin fuel cells. That's developed through NCWM and NIST working groups. The specifications and tolerances for retail hydrogen delivery systems. You have to have the infrastructure to deliver it, and it has to be regulated. Electronic carcass evaluation systems for beef, pork, and poultry that determine lean and fat before the carcass is ever broken down. Method of sale for electricity as a motor fuel. It's being given away for free. It's being given away based on the time you're connected, plugged in. It's being sold based on kilowatt. Well, how do you price compare? So we're developing that method of sale. Utility companies wash their hands of it, so that leaves it to weights and measures. Compressed natural gas and liquid natural gas delivery systems. That's an emerging market, and we have to have the infrastructure. And of course, new taximeter technology. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the U.S. National Working Group. I think that John pretty well covered that. This is my final slide. I have to do my sales pitch. Membership is cheap. We're not out to make a lot of money. We are a nonprofit. For government officials, it's $75. For non-government officials, it's $90. That extra $15 was at the request of our associate membership. That goes into their fund, and they use that to help fund training and other activities. With that, you get any or all of those 3 handbooks complimentary every year of your membership. You get reduced meeting registrations, the ability to serve on our committees, subcommittees, and task groups. Drastic savings, I mean drastic savings on NTEP applications if you're manufacturers of these technologies. And you can have an impact on the national standards. I'm just going to leave you with this final thought. We're running out of time. I've been around weights and measures since 1993. I've been attending these conferences since then. Back in the 70s, early 70s, we moved from mechanical to electronic in the scale industry, and there was a lot of fear, a lot of overreaction, a lot of concern about electronics being used in the weighing industry. Well, then we moved to software, and now it's magic in a box. And now we've moved to magic in the air. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just another evolution, something that I know John and I embrace, and we look forward to getting those standards developed and into our handbooks. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.